I wanted to walk you through one of our exercises in the homework for Wiley Plus. I want to point out a few things about Wiley Plus in case you have not used it before or if you've used it with a different instructor. So I've already walked you through one of the cost of goods manufactured schedules in the example problem. So here I want to walk through some of the product cost, which is the other part of this chapter. A couple things about Wiley Plus. First of all, there's always this link to text. That link to text is going to tell you exactly where in the chapter you're going to find information to answer this question. In some of the problems that are more detailed, there'll also be a video exercise. This walks you through the exact same exercise but with different numbers so that you can see how it's done and then apply it. So let's go back through and look at a couple of features from this homework. When you are going through and answering, a lot of the problems give you drop downs where you can just pick. The other option in some of them is if you just start typing, it will actually fill it in for you. So I want to walk you through this problem, which goes through, is it a product cost or a period cost? Product costs are those direct material, direct labor, or manufacturing overhead, whereas the period cost is expensed immediately on the income statement. An example of this would be advertising. If we're making a music for a music company and we have a blank CD, that's probably going to be a product cost. I'm going to go through and just to give you an example, I'm not looking. I don't know if these are right or wrong. I would suggest that when you go through them, you pick what you really think it is. But I wanted to let you know for each question, you have as many attempts as possible, which is usually 15. If you get down to the point where you have like 13, when you use 13, email me, let me know where you're having the issue, and let's work through that. So I wouldn't suggest using these attempts for every box that you fill in, but after you've completed a lot of it, you can hit that submit button, and it's going to tell you what you got right or wrong. Now this one's a little bit easier because in this column here, you only had two choices. So for example, the salary of a factory manager. Most CEO type salaries would be a period cost. But since this is for a factory manager, and that word factory means it is a product cost. Same thing here, we're talking about those CDs. Anything with the CD is going to be a product cost. A sales representative would be an example of a period cost. And anyone who's working directly on the product would be a product cost. Then they want you to go through, and anything that is a product cost, we're going to identify, is it direct materials, direct labor, or manufacturing overhead? So we can go through some of these and look at them. The first thing I want to point out, anything that's a period cost is going to be not applicable. Everything else you're going to have to fill in. Blank CDs would be direct material. Depreciation is manufacturing overhead. Salaries are going to be labor. Factory supplies used. Depending on what that is, this could go into our direct materials, but if it's a small supply like oil or glue, maybe that would be manufacturing overhead. Those paper inserts, again, same thing. It's kind of depending on what we're using these for. So we'll go through the salaries, and that's our direct labor and also the direct labor. But since this one's on maintenance, most likely that's going to go into my overhead account because it's not directly related to my product. I can hit submit answer again, and I see that these two are wrong because the manager's salary is most likely going to go into overhead because it's not directly related to the product. They're overseeing the product. And again, these factory supplies used, it kind of depends on what that supply is. So we'll put those into overhead. We'll hit submit again, and then we have all the full points. Remember, your goal is to get full points on all of these homework problems. It's going to really make a difference in your final grade. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Otherwise, get started on the homework.